headline: House of Rep set to pass bill for states to collect VAT. The news in full. The Nigerian House of Representatives is aiming to pass a bill pushing for the collection of value-added tax (VAT) by state governments. Politics Nigeria learned that the bill, titled An Act to Alter 39, Part 1 of the Second Schedule of the 1999 Constitution, as amended to substitute and move the item from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, is sponsored by Reps Hassan, Usman, Sokodabo, and John Ye. The bill read in part: The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 is hereby altered as set out. Item 39, Part 1 of the Second Schedule of the Principal Act altered by substituting the item and moving it from the executive legislative list to the concurrent list. Thus, Item 39, Part 1 of the Second Schedule of the Constitution to be moved to this concurrent legislative list now read: States governments shall manage their resources, mines and minerals, including oil fields, oil mining, value-added tax, geological surveys, as well as natural gas. 50% of the total revenue accruable from the minerals shall be retained by the states where the minerals are derived. 30% shall be credited to the distributable pool account, while the remaining 20% shall be credited to the federation accounts. This development is occurring amidst a Supreme Court case between the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) and the Rivers State governance over the collection of VAT. And the news analysis is that now the House of Rep are set to pass the bill for states to actually collect VAT. We know that for quite a while now, the southern governors had rose from a meeting in Enugu where they threw their weight behind the clamor by some states to claim control of collection of value-added tax (VAT) in their domains. Consequently, the governors, acting under the aegis of Southern Governors Forum, supported efforts made so far by the Rivers State government and also the Lagos State government, respectively, where it will be recalled that these two states are currently in court to wrest control over the value-added tax collection from the federal government, where the governors of Rivers and Lagos states have said that they generate high revenue, but the return they get from the federal government is way too low than what they are actually generating. And by the law, they have the rights, the constitutional rights to collect VAT themselves within the state. And the governors are insisted on their earlier call that the country's next president comes from South in 2023, while iterating their clamor for true fiscal federalism, where the Southern governors' position on the value-added tax came on a day Lagos State government maintained in court that it has the constitutional right to collect value-added tax as well, and not the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS). This is even as Ogun State House of Assembly had also proposed the State Value-Added Tax 2021, which remains one of its legislative initiatives designed to achieve fiscal restructuring in the country to further ensure equity and fairness in revenue sharing among the federating units. Rising from the meeting in Enugu, the governors, in a 7-paragraph communique read by the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum and governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, where he said that since states have the constitutional power to collect VAT, they should be allowed to do so without hindrance. The communique read in part: Nigerian Southern Governors, at its meeting Thursday, September 16, 2021, held in the Government House, Enugu State, reviewed the state of the nation and the progress of implementation of decisions reached in our previous meetings, and further resolved that the states has the constitutional right, according to their paragraph 3, saying that the meeting resolved that they would support the position that the collection of VAT falls within the power of the state. However, the the FIRS had actually, gone to court to counter this, saying, just to counter it, that the Lagos State and Rivers State government cannot collect the VAT by themselves, but the Lagos State and also the Rivers State had actually insisted that they had the right, as the southern governors were attending the meeting, where they stood in their stance that they are the one to collect it and not the FIRS, and consequently the state, through its Attorney General Moyosore Onigbanjo, SAN, prayed the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja to accede to its application to be joined as an interested party in the appeal the FIRS filed to set aside the High Court judgment that gave Rivers State the right to collect the value-added tax. And moving the joint application, Onigbanjo SAN argued that Lagos State is a necessary party whose interest will be affected by the outcome of the appeal by FIRS. Then it was said that even the appellant, which is FIRS, recognized the interest in the application for stay of execution and injunction pending appeal. And that being the case, it cannot lie in the mouth of the appellant, that is the FIRS, to say that Lagos State has no interest in the matter. So therefore, the pleaded that the appellate court, in the interest of hearing, to admit Lagos State as a co-respondent in the case alongside Rivers State, saying that it will help curb multiplicity of suits on the same subject matter, whereby on their part, the FIRS, through their lawyer, Mahmood Magaji SAN, urged that the appellate court to refuse the application by Lagos State and Rivers State as per this FIRS. However, the appellate court panel declined an oral application by both Rivers and Lagos State for a receiver of manager to be appointed to in the interim to collect the value-added tax from their territory pending the conclusion of the case. And while rejecting the request, head of Court of Appeal panel, Justice Sanami, ordered both the states to file a formal application to that effect. And at the end of the day, the Speaker, Olakunle Oluomo of Ogun State, had also clarified that the proposed bill by them would ensure improved revenue to the state, arguing that the revenue item was not listed in the exclusive list of the nations. And yet, it has been said now that the House of Rep are now set to pass the VAT into reading, where they said that according to the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, saying that it is hereby altered out as set out that based on now the state government should manage their resources and the mines and minerals, including oil fields and oil minings, and also the value-added tax. And at the end of the day, 50% of the total revenue should be accruable from the minerals should be retained by the state while minerals are derived. And they said that 30% should be credited to the distributable pool account, while the remaining 20% shall be credited to the federal account. And this development is occurring after the whole deliberations between Lagos State, Rivers State, and the FIRS. Thanks for listening. Good evening.